Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do some of the basic skills of crocheting for beginners. So some of the things you should know how to do by the end of the lesson are you should know how to make a slip knot, how to hold a crochet hook, how to crochet a chain, and how to crochet a single stitch. So crocheting is very rewarding extrinsically in that you can make blankets, stuffed animals, and have all these fun things after you finish crocheting, but it's also very rewarding intrinsically in that it's a very relaxing skill to have. It's also very valued and it's very fun to do while you're crocheting, especially once you get the hang of it. So I really hope that not only you know how to do these skills by the end of the lesson, but also that you enjoy it throughout. So some of the materials you're going to need for today are a crochet hook, obviously, and some yarn. You can use any type of yarn you like, any color, based on what you are making today. So when it comes to holding your crochet hook, you're going to want to take your thumb and index and pointer fingers and lay them on the part of the crochet hook where it's indented. It should be very comfortable and it should be very easy to maneuver the crochet hook with your yarn and should be able to do all these movements. Yeah. So now we're going to learn how to make a slip knot. So basically you're going to want to put the string in between your pointer and your index finger and you're going to twist it around and then you're going to stick your thumb in and pull the string connected to the yarn through the loop. So it may look a little intimidating at first, but it's actually very simple and we're going to do it a few times to make sure everyone gets it. So once again, we're going to take our string, place it in between our pointer and index finger. We're going to twist it around, stick our thumb into that loop we just made, and pull the string that is connected to the yarn through that loop that we made. And we're going to do this one more time, a little bit quicker, just so everyone can see. We're going to take those fingers, twist it around, stick the thumb through, and pull it through. So that is our slip knot, and we're going to want to take our crochet needle at this point. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, and stick that through the knot that we just made. And once we have our hook inside this knot, we're going to be able to start our chain. So how we chain is we're going to take our string, wrap it around the hook, and then make sure that string goes into the hook and then through the loop. And we're going to do this about 11 times, and you're going to want to take that string, wrap it over the hook, and then make sure that string gets grabbed by the hook and through the loop that's on the hook already. So we're taking it around the front and through the loop, around the front and through the loop. And we're going to do this a bunch of times until we have the amount of chains that we want. So now that we're finishing up our 11th chain, we're just going to make sure that we counted properly because crocheting is all about being organized. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're perfect. I just wanted to recap, when you are counting your stitches, you just want to count these little V's that you see here. So now we're going to go into making our first stitch. So we're going to want to look at our chain again, and we're going to want to go into our second chain. As you see here, I'm trying to point it out. It's our second V. We're going to want to skip that one and just go straight into our second V. So we're going to go right from behind, stick it in, We're going to wrap around the front. We're going to pull through that first loop only. And then we're going to wrap around again and then pull through both stitches. And that is how you do a single crochet stitch. So we're going to do this until we get to the end. So as you can see, we have this little loop that we can stick it through. The chain, we're going to go behind, wrap it around, pull through just one, and then we're going to wrap around again and pull through both stitches. And we do this again, we see our loop, and we stick it in there. Just trying to make it a little more clear here. Stick it through, then we're going to wrap around that, and we're going to pull through just that one, and then we're going to go through both of them. And we do this until the end. Now I thought this stitch was a really good one to show for anyone who needed another view. Sticking it in that top loop of the chain, wrapping it around, pulling that through, then wrapping around again over the hook and pulling through both of those loops. So now that we're getting closer to the end of the chain, I'm going to show you how to turn our stitches around so that we can go back and start layering up our project. So as you see here, we are sticking our hook into our last loop and we are looping around. We are wrapping and pulling through both of those. So now that we are at the end of our chain, we have this little section done. So we're going to want to layer on top of this, obviously. So what we're going to do is we are going to make another chain. So we're going to take our string and we're going to wrap it around the front and pull through. Now once we do this, we're going to want to flip our work over and we're going to start by sticking back in to our first stitch right there. So we're going to take our hook and stick it right through that little V that we made, that first one right in the front, and we're going to loop over, pull through, loop over again, and pull through. And we're going to repeat this. Also, as you can see, we started running out of yarn. So with yarn, you're going to want to make sure that you're being very organized. So you don't want your yarn like spread out everywhere and like very disorganized. You want to keep your yarn in a ball that it came in and pull a little out at a time so it doesn't get knotted and caught up in your work. So now we're going back to our stitch. So we're sticking into that second hole now and we're looping around, pulling through, then we're looping around again and pulling through both loops. So once you complete doing these steps over and over, you'll end up with a square or a patch, depending on how many rows you do. And these skills are really important for making more creative things like this beret or even a mask, which is in very high demand right now. So I hope this video was helpful for all the beginners, and I hope that you guys can learn how to make more things in the future knowing these skills, and also enjoy crocheting for the fun of it in the future.